Hello and welcome to Conservative to America. I am your co-host, Cole Holcomb. I'd like to thank special guest Britton Wadsworth for coming on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Cole and Griffin. Thank you.
Griffin Keffer. Thanks for having me on, Cole.
No problem.
No problem.
Let's go ahead and start off with the first story of the day. Ellen DeGeneres, or as we like to call her on this channel, Ellen DeGenerate, has announced that she is leaving the United States. Conservative to America would like to say, hasta la luego. Either way, though, Ellen DeGenerate, she is leaving the United States and moving to England with her wife. So, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Actually, matter of fact, do let the door hit you. Uh, with all these other Hollywood stars, she's the only one who so far has taken it into action. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, all these other people that everyone's remembering that were supposed to apparently leave the country whenever Donald Trump won the election have yet to do it, but Ellen DeGenerate did. So goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'd like to hear first Griffin's response and then your response, Britton.
Sounds good.
Same thing Cole said. See ya. Hasta luego. I hope you don't have a good life.
All right. Honestly, I've read a lot of things about her leaving, and one of the most common thing that I've seen about her leaving is because her association with Diddy and not wanting to be found out or again associated with him. Um, Honestly, I do have a quote that she said, quote unquote, "I'm privileged. I get to escape and go somewhere. Most Americans aren't so lucky. They're going to be stuck in this dystopian country, and my anxiety and sadness is for them."
Well, yeah, you make a good point. She's not really leaving because of Donald Trump. Speaking of all these other people that were leaving the nation, that were quote unquote going to leave the nation, well, the views, they're still calling Donald Trump the Nazi. Well, if he was a Nazi and you guys really thought that he was a Nazi, then why aren't you guys packing your bags and getting out? You guys have the money, but you're choosing to stay here and do your little do your little show. Well, guess what? Donald Trump isn't the Nazi. They've been lying to the American public for the past 8 years, and they know it. They know that he's not going to do all these things that they've lied and said to their people. Oh, he's going to be this Nazi. He's going to be a dictator, blah, 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 blah. They know that's not actually going to happen, but they just try to put fear into the American public to vote their certain agenda. It's not so much that they care for the people, it's that they just want their agenda pushed. Griffin?
I actually have to go, Cole. So I'd like to see everybody. See y'all. I'll see y'all in the next episode. See you, Britton. See you,
Yeah,
Cole. Thanks for
See,
having me on, but see you.
yeah.
see you, Griffin.
Say Griffin.
Okay, Britton, then I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Honestly, I've seen a lot of. There's been a lot of actors, just a lot of celebrities in general that have been leaving, and on it, it's a common occurrence that like after Diddy was ousted as what he truly was, it all just went downhill for a lot of people in the Hollywood scene. And I feel like over the next few years, we are going to see a huge change in the Hollywood scene regarding movies, how things are produced, and celebrities in general. Everything is changing. He had so many, not just singers, but everyone was under his belt, under his paycheck. Like he had more influence than so many people realize, and how he affected the singing community in Hollywood was so incredibly drastic. And honestly, I'm not even sure what's going to happen now that he's gone.
Yeah, you're right. Uh, that is encouraging other movie making industries that have left Hollywood for places like Nashville to make movies, like that group that John Voight's a part of, and Dennis Quaid, and I forgot that other guy's name, but he was in Daddy's Home and all these other movies. He was in Ted. By the way, they are making their own new movie company to make movies because they don't want to be associated with Hollywood anymore because they know exactly what Hollywood is. It's a bunch of liberals associated with Diddy and all these other things that are there to really rat out America, that are there to sell out America, that are there to make America believe what they believe, to indoctrinate America. And they said, we're sick and tired of it. And America said this election day, this November 5th, we're sick and tired of you people doing that to us. We want a new path forward. And speaking of indoctrination, let's move on to the American education system. And specifically speaking of the Department of Education. As we know that uh, a senator today debuted a bill on the Senate floor. Republican Senator Mike Rounds debuted a bill today on the Senate floor, issuing that the Department of Education be entirely, the word that I'm looking for, I'm blanking on it, but be entirely dissolved. That's it. But that the Department of Education be dissolved. He Most people would have thought this would have been impossible, but with a Republican House, Senate, and presidency, it's possible. Also, I support it, and I've supported it for the past year and a half on this channel. I've talked about it regularly about how the uh, Department of Education actually goes against the Constitution because there are a few things that states have the rights to dictate, and uh, that is one of them displayed in the Constitution: education. The federal government should not be getting involved in the education system, like Mike Rounds stated. I liked what he said in there, uh, but we uh, need to eliminate the Department of Education. Britton, I'd like to hear what your take on this is.
Honestly, this is definitely it's a very interesting one. I do agree with what you said about the government not involving themselves in the Department of Education and whatnot. And I want to go back on something Trump said. He said, "quote unquote, one thing I'll be doing early in the administration is closing out the Department of Education in Washington D.C. and sending all education and education work it needs back to the states." And honestly, a lot of experts actually went against him and saying that he would need congressional approval and whatnot. But I honestly think he'd be able to do it. And the Department of Education has. He also said that the Department of Education has never educated a single student, and it's long past time to end this bureaucratic department that causes more harm than good. Brown said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I don't really like what he's doing. I think he's pushing things in the wrong direction. He's trying a bit too hard.
yeah. Well, uh, I like the idea of getting rid of the Department of Education. I think that it is important in today's society where people are just going around indoctrinating your children. In places like California, we're having Washington, D.C. dictate what children in Republican states and in just any state what they should be learning. And frankly, ideas such as evolution, getting the Ten Commandments all out of school, all came down from the Department of Education. These are all other topics that I'll talk about later on other podcasts on why I'm against certain things like this being taught in schools. But it's amazing what well, not amazing. It's terrible, but amazing at the same time what the Department of Education has done to the American education system and indoctrinating our children. It's tremendous and it's terrible. Written?
How far they've actually gone because, like, with people are afraid to say anything against it. They don't want to be opposed by the public. They don't want to be the odd one out. It honestly, they definitely know what they're doing, but
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
agree with you.
Totally.
I would like to go ahead and move on now to Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. Matt Gaetz withdrawing from consideration, which is amazing. He already resigned his seat in the United States Senate, thinking that he was a shoo-in, that he didn't have anything to worry about, and that he was definitely going to be Attorney General of the United States. Well, Matt, looks like it didn't work out for you. Britton, let's hear your take on this.
honestly, I'm really glad he's out. He's not a good person. He's had allegations against him. He had a sexual assault allegation against him. I can't remember the exact date. Uh, that recently came out. He's done other things. But as I was just watching the news earlier, Trump has said he will be maybe electing Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General, which I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
honestly, I'd go for that. From what she's done, I think she's a great pick for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There are a few other guys that I would think that would make a great attorney general. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, Senator uh, Kennedy, John Kennedy from Louisiana, Governor Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. I think that he would make a tremendous attorney general, but only if he wants the position. Currently, um, Donald Trump has filled the majority of positions that he has left a lot of those big positions. Attorney General is one of the first that he announced, but turns out he's got to find a new pick. So I like that pick. I think there's some other picks that are great out there in the GOP field, but I'm not sure if he wants to throw them in there. Right now, there are tons of Republicans eyeing positions for the 2028 ticket for President of the United States. Guys like Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, all these guys and women like Tulsi Gabbard. Nikki Haley will probably make a run for it again. I think her run will be unsuccessful. But I mean, there are tons of people, Marco Rubio, there are tons of people who are eyeing that position and they want that position. So they're looking to do whatever they can to get in that slot, to get in that spot where they can make a name for themselves on the national level. Britton?
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, but so with what you said, all these people eyeing for those positions. Honestly, I feel like that could change in what Trump does with this presidency and how he leads it and what all goes on in these next 4 years. I believe if something doesn't go to plan, I believe that could change drastically, and the numbers for whoever wanted the positions could change and drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, right now. I'm currently looking at the midterms. Really, I think that all Donald Trump has to do for the midterms is to go into the presidency, get gas cheap again, make diesel $1 less than gas again, which is expected to happen. Get the stock market rolling again, lower interest rates. And guess what? That's not entirely that hard to do considering what Biden has done in this nation. And Republicans will win the midterms in 2026. And if we do that, that's a step to winning the presidency in 2028, which I imagine we probably will do. I think that we will have big gains. I think that we'll get the House back even bigger. But it all depends on if it's going to be promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump last time, he kept the majority of his promises that he could personally keep whenever he didn't have to deal with guys like Paul Ryan and the rhinos and the establishment in Washington. But this time, Donald Trump knows who to trust. This time, the people who get things done are in power, and he's sent everybody home, and he's campaigned against everybody who's gone against the Trump agenda, who's gone against the America First agenda, and who has gone against the Make America Great Again agenda. And I'm not trying to think and sound like the Republican Party is some dictatorship party, but I truly do believe that we need to set it out that we need to make sure that our party falls in line. The Democrats, they fall right in line. All their ducks are in a row on every vote. They always seem to make it happen. The Republican Party seems to be divided. And I'll explain it to you this way. I heard a political analyst say it this way one time. Democrats, Republicans, their religion is their religion, and their politics are their politics. Democrats, their politics are their religion. So they can all align and they can get their ducks all in a row. That's the most important thing to them. That's practically like their religion. They go out, they hang out with people at political campaign parties. That's the closest thing that they get to church. Republicans, we go to church, okay? And then we have politics as a side thing that we're interested in. So that's the difference between us and the Democrats and why we don't all fall into line most of the time. But I think currently in this new administration, yes, we have slim majorities in the House. But the thing that's different between this slim majority and the slim majority even in 2022, especially the majority that we even had, the big majority that we had in 2016, is that we have all these people who they all fall into line. We have maybe one moderate in the House, maybe two on any given day, but 1 to 2 moderates in the House. Well, all you have to do, we can lose 3 votes, and we will still be able to push everything through. Okay, so with those 2 moderates, it's not actually that bad. I don't have a problem with those 2 moderates. I think that as our majority makes it look a little bit better. They vote with Republicans 70% of the time, but the 30% that they don't vote, sometimes with those big bills, that's a whole other story for a whole other day. But I think that this party that we have right now, the current GOP party, the current outlook that we have, the current administration that's getting ready to come in, I think that there are going to be big things that are going to happen, especially with the help of the Senate and the help of the presidency. But in the House, I think that we'll be able to pass it even with our slim majorities. Big things like eliminating the Department of Education, which I'm very excited for. Thank you.
And I, even though all Republican, I do believe that a lot of people are out for Trump. And I, I we don't like what he's doing and how ambitious he's going for. And
Hold on. Donald Trump just announced his pick for Attorney General. This is breaking news. Donald Trump taps Pam Bondi for Attorney General. Of course, she is the Attorney General of the great state of Florida. This is a huge announcement. Breaking news happening right while we're on the air. Britton, just like you predicted a few minutes ago. Guys, go back and rewatch that scene. He predicted it. But Pam Bondi is going to be the next Attorney General of the United States. Okay, Britton, go ahead on with what you were saying.
no, I don't. Wow. I didn't know if he would actually pick her. That honestly, I think this is a great pick. I think she could do amazing stuff like with what she did with Florida, and I I think he made a way better pick than Gates.
Yeah, let's turn our national elections into elections like they have in Florida, where we get the votes counted by 10 p.m. Okay, that's what it needs to happen in the United States, just like Florida. How can the third most populated state in the United States have all their votes counted by 10 o'clock the night after the polls close, but Arizona and Nevada take a week to count all their votes? It's amazing. It's crazy. It's terrible. But back to what you were saying. Good job, Britton. You predicted it. I hand that all to you. You predicted that Pam Bondi would be picked right here on Conservative to America. Maybe Donald Trump's watching. Maybe he heard you and he said, you know what? That's who we're going to pick. But Britton, go ahead. Keep going on.
Keep going on.
I honestly, I feel like Trump. He's gonna do a lot of good. He is going to get stuff done. He's gonna move all of us forward more than we've ever been. Him running again is a good second chance to correct those not mistakes, but those little left turns that might have gone wrong in his first presidential 4 years. And honestly, I'm excited for it's really. I'm growing up and having a good economy, being able to. I'm really excited.
Yeah, as we all should be. That is tremendous news, though, that I said from the start we've been anti-Matt Gaetz since here on Conservative to America, since Donald Trump announced the pick. But I am very excited for this pick. I think this is a good pick. I think he made it right this time with Pam Bondi. I hope that she does the job that Donald Trump has set her out to do, and we do not. And another thing with this new administration, I hope that we no longer have the crappy candidates like we had all the way back in 2016, whenever Donald Trump picked all those different crappy candidates to serve in his administration. Not trying to go all on another tangent about that stuff. That's all for another video. But that's good that he picked Pam Bondi right now while we're on the air. But I'd like to talk too about about Laken Riley, who was viciously murdered by an illegal immigrant. It was terrible. Viciously murdered and raped by an illegal immigrant. It's terrible what happened to her. A college student in a first world country. This should not happen. That man should have never come across the border in the first place. He was an illegal immigrant, okay? And you know how we treated him? Laken Riley, what was her treatment from the U.S. government? She got killed, okay? What was this guy's treatment from the U.S. government? He got a swanky motel up in Manhattan and a plane ticket to Atlanta, where then he killed Laken Riley. It's terrible. It's terrible that this could happen in a country like the United States of America. We cannot stand for it. And I cannot say that he got justice from what happened, where he got life in jail. This guy, he's lucky that it happened in the United States of America. This guy deserves to rot in jail, and then right towards the end of his life, before he dies, get brutally murdered. But first, He goes through torture. This is what this guy deserves. But he's in the United States of America where we got to treat him nice, which I understand that and I get it. But still, at the same time, this is terrible. We cannot say justice has been served, but what we can say is this guy will rot in prison for the rest of his life. And I just hope that he gets what he has coming to him whenever he gets there. I hope every inmate in prison wants to beat that guy up, that son of a gun up. But other than that, that is just ultimately terrible what has happened to that Lake and Riley and her family, what they've had to go through, and then how this guy practically for what he did, this is considered a slap on the wrist. Life in jail for what he did is a slap on the wrist. Britton,
Yeah, no, I heard a quote where if you let the third world country in, you become the third world country, and just what he did, he pleaded not guilty to all of the charges when he was first brought, and it's absolutely horrible, and not just Lake and Riley, but so many others that have become victim of this, and while Biden and Harris just turn a blind eye to it. And people are saying that we're being too harsh on them, letting them in, but we have laws and we have to follow those laws. And if we don't have those laws, we don't have order, and not order in the way that everyone needs to be controlled, but order in the sense that everyone can feel safe and protected in their own country and homes. That they don't have to worry about someone breaking in and stealing all their stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Britain, another thing I'd like to bring up, this is also kind of breaking right now too. Lawmakers act as Biden admin plans to let Ukraine off the hook for massive debt of Americans. Well, Biden right now, the administration is trying to pack the courts and let Ukraine off for billions of dollars. Then we wonder why we have a massive debt deficit. Biden is trying to do whatever he can to screw up America before he leaves. This is terrible. Lawmakers are going to stop him from doing this. You're done. It's over. Goodbye. The people have spoken. Uh, don't let anything push through Mike Johnson. Filibuster the crap out of this stuff, senators in Washington. But this is just terrible. Britain, Britain.
No, and it's only half of what I believe with 9 billion. I believe
Oh,
the loan was.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I don't quote me on that, but he recently, also a couple days ago, allowed Ukraine to use U.S. provided long range missiles to strike targets in deep inside Russia on Wednesday. That
yep.
Yeah.
was a new security system, include personal mines. I don't know what we're doing, honestly. It's all such a with Putin congratulating Trump on winning. I honestly I do wonder if Putin is trying to, because they recently striked Ukraine as well. I do wonder if he's going to try and take this out in uh one swift move before Trump is in presidency, because he knows what Trump will do if
Yeah.
anything happens
Yeah.
during his presidency, and he knows how strict Trump will get toward him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's another big thing that came up in the news today. There was a video game that predicted how the United States would go against China. Well, lawmakers looked at it and they're using that as kind of a model of how to get the United States ready in case China decides to invade Taiwan and how we would react and how we would be able to win. It said that within the first, I think it was uh, within the first month of fighting, we would lose 10,000 soldiers and 40,000 air. We would lose 40,000 aircraft, along with one aircraft carrier at least. I'm all for protecting Taiwan, but I do think though that with Donald Trump that we need to get peace through strength. It's expected that if China decides to invade Taiwan, it'll be in the year 2027 because based on how they're building their military right now, at any moment really they could invade Taiwan. Their navy is beginning to have more ships than ours. Our navy though is still the imperial navy in the world. We're still the superior navy, but they're beginning to come out with more and more, maybe not just as good quality, but still more and more. In the end, if you have more mediocre things to a few quality things, the more mediocre things are going to win. It's how life works, how the world works. It's too bad that happens, but that is how it happens. Uh, Britton, I'd like to hear what you think about this. On should lawmakers really be taking models from video games to decide uh, on how to protect against China?
No, I do not think that at all. It's a silly way to look at it. It's honestly, it just looks desperate to me at that point. And on with the new Gerald R. Ford class nuclear powered aircraft carriers that we are recently building, I honestly, and like you, quantity over quality with what China is doing. It's definitely, it will play out interestingly. I am quite anxious about that because we don't know how they'll react. We don't know what measures they'll go to, and it's all I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, even their Air Force. We still end up having a better Air Force than them. Uh, I don't know. I'm not too sure on
Hold on
the
just one
count.
second.
Hold on just 1 second.
Hey, Griffin, we're still on this. Welcome back. You can continue to have these conversations with us. Right now, we're talking about whether China should be allowed to, whether the United States should be taking models from video games to decide on how to protect against China. We're having Britton talk about it right now, and then I'll go to you. Okay? Okay, sounds good. Britton.
Written. Yeah. Honestly, so China, they do have a bigger army. They have the world's largest with 2.8 million soldiers. But again, I don't see those soldiers being more well trained than our skills and our just all our army in general. Honestly, I like you said, quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griffin.
Griffin.
Okay, what was the top again? Sorry, I forgot.
Uh, right now we are currently talking about China and if the United States should be taking video game models to apply to how to protect against an invasion of China on Taiwan, or if we should be using a video game to decide that, to decide how to protect against it.
That.
No, I don't think we should be using a video game because, in my opinion, video games are very unrealistic and they don't seem like they could actually happen in real life. Some could, but not many. So, but we do have a lot of money, so we can do a lot of things that can help us get advantages. But I don't think that's a good idea because that just doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, like I said, it's just desperate. It's just looking for ways to seem smarter and get the upper hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trump announced his new.
Yep. Pam
Yeah.
Bondi. Yeah.
Yeah, Pam Bondi.
Yeah. Pam Bondi.
Actually, Britain, he projected that like what was it? Like 5 seconds, like it was like 30, 40 seconds before Donald Trump announced it, like nobody knew. And Britain said, uh yeah, well, I think Pam Bondi. And right then I interrupted him, and then he started talking about something else, and I interrupted him. I said, oh, you're right. I said Donald Trump just announced his pick for attorney general. That was kind of cool. But Griffin.
I think it was a good pick, in my opinion. Everything I've read about her, she seems like a pretty decent pick, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, way better than Gates.
I don't.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, then the
I don't even know if
pedophile.
Trump picked Gates. Yeah, I don't know why Trump picked Gates. I mean, Gates left because he said he didn't want to cause a disruption. I think he was just guilty of the pedophile actions, in my opinion.
No, he's definitely guilty, and
Oh,
he's just
hold on.
trying to. Oh, hold on.
Breaking Another breaking news alert. Senator Bob Casey concedes uh, battleground race weeks after it was called. The recount is over. Bob Casey, the 18-year serving senator, has lost re-election. Dave McCormick wins, and he will be the junior senator from the state of Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Mr. McCormick. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on that. Republican Dave McCormick defeated Democratic Senator Bob Casey. Crazy things are happening while we're on the air. Go.
That is McCormick's victory. That's a huge upset of the Democratic. That's wow. That is a key battle. That's a key battleground state, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I never saw that coming. Wow. He had such a tight grip on it these past couple of years when he ran. I didn't think anyone would be able to dethrone it. Wow.
Yeah. Griffin?
Like Britton said, I did not think he was gonna win. To be honest, even though Pennsylvania was a Republican state this year, I didn't think he was gonna win.
I feel like McCormick appearing at the Trump rallies this year. Honestly, I feel like that's way helped him. Honestly, and
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, I mean, before going into the recounts, McCormick was leading by about 30,000 votes. I was surprised whenever he won that. Whenever he was leading in that race, that he actually won it. I'm surprised about that too. But I mean, Democrats. I'm surprised that he won the recount. Democrats always find a way to pull votes out of some hole somewhere, and this is amazing for Dave McCormick. After all the illegal ballots that they were trying to count in Pennsylvania in the recount, all this other stuff. It's amazing that he was so able to win after they said it, and that was late, and we saw with our own eyes him cheating in an election, and still Dave McCormick won. That is amazing. Britton.
Yeah, I want to add too. McCormick, his wife worked as a national security advisor to Trump and was nearly on stage during the July assassination attempt. But Trump told him to stay seated for another few minutes shortly before the gunman shot. And honestly, for McCormick's victory for the next 4 years, it will be one of the few states with senators from different. John Fetterman, the Oz guy, I can't remember his first name.
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz. Yeah, that was his first 6-year term.
Yeah, Dr. Oz is now going to be serving in over Medicare and Medicaid. It's pretty good. Senator Fetterman said that he would support Dr. Oz if Dr. Oz promises to keep Medicare and Medicaid, like the Department of Education, like that. It looks like Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to clean house on a lot of these bull crap departments that we've been running up there for years. I tell Dr. Oz, don't care about if Fetterman votes for you or not. Go ahead. Let's get rid of Medicare and Medicaid. Of course, replace them with something better. But Medicare, yeah, keep Medicare. But Medicaid, we need to replace it with something better. Medicaid and Medicare are just Obamacare. We need to replace Obamacare with something better. Repeal the Affordable Care Act. It's just something that we've got to do. The new Trump administration. He couldn't do it the first time. I'm not sure if he'll go after it this time. But Dr. Oz, I think that he'll make a great. He'll do great at that position, along with he'll be working underneath RFK, who is health secretary, replacing that assistant health secretary who's that tranny woman. Ain't even a woman. She's a fat tranny. Okay. Number one, she doesn't understand science because boys are boys and girls are girls right from the start, right to the end. Okay. And number two, she doesn't take her own advice, and it's the lady telling us what's healthy and what's not healthy, and she's overweight, clearly. I mean, it's just crazy. This lady, look her up. Look up assistant health secretary, guys. If you're watching this right now, look up. That lady is a tranny, so it's a dude. Okay, she's got kids with a lady. It's just crazy what's going on in America right now. America has said no to the leftist woke agenda. This is crazy. This is terrible. Weirdos galore. Britton.
Honestly, I feel like I'm taking advice from someone that doesn't follow their own advice. It's honestly, it's obvious in my head, and I feel like it should be for a lot of other people, just not to do that. Like there's better people to listen to than that.
Yeah, Griffin.
Yeah, don't pick a influence like that. Pick a good influencer. Like what she says, she doesn't even do it herself. Like Britton said, like don't listen to her. Listen to other people that actually have good advice. And yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for watching Conservative to America. America's #1 conservative teen news podcast. I'd like to thank Griffin and Britton for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Cole. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Cole, for having me, and thank you, Britton, for
Always
coming
happy
on.
to.
Thank you guys very much. We will be back tomorrow with more of the K&H Angle. Tonight, more with Keffer Prime Time. Make sure to go watch Live Free or Die and always watch those Cole Reacts shorts. We hope to see you in future videos. Thanks for watching. And remember to stay cool, America. I'm your host, Cole Holcomb, signing off.